The command cracked through the air like a whip. Sharp, foreign syllables rolled across the marble hall, carrying an authority that froze conversations mid-sentence. Soldiers paused mid-step. Reporters frowned, puzzled. No one moved, except her, Lena, the quiet cleaning lady in her mid-20s, wearing a plain gray uniform with the sleeves rolled up, stopped dead in her tracks. She had been pushing her mop toward the far wall, lost in the rhythm of her work, when those words sliced through the noise. They were a call she thought she'd never hear again. Her fingers tightened around the handle until her knuckles whitened. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I love knowing who's listening. The general's eyes scanned the room, searching, until they landed on her. The air between them seemed to hum. Lena had worn a uniform once too, not long ago. Barely 20, she had served as a field medic in a conflict that never made the headlines. She remembered the smell of antiseptic mixed with dust, the sound of boots pounding the dirt, the desperate voices calling her name. And those exact words, barked in that exact tone, had been the emergency rally command. The order to gather the wounded, to brace for impact, to hold the line no matter what. She thought the man who gave that order had been lost years ago. She thought her war was over. She was wrong. The crowd murmured in confusion. "What language is that?" someone whispered. The general didn't answer them. He stood waiting, his posture unshaken, as though the weight of the hall rested easily on his shoulders. Her feet moved before her mind caught up. Step by step, Lena crossed the expanse, the echoes of her past keeping pace. She saw flashes, carrying a bleeding soldier on her back, her knees buckling under his weight, patching wounds by flashlight, the crushing silence after the final. Gunshots faded. When she reached the front, the general's gaze softened, though his voice remained steady. "Report," he said in the language only they shared. She answered without hesitation. Her voice was clear, but her heart was racing. She gave her name, her rank, her old unit. The words felt strange and familiar all at once. Gasps rippled through the audience. Some leaned forward, sensing that something rare was unfolding. She spoke of the chaos of that night, the scramble to save as many as possible, the screams that still visited her dreams, the bitter retreat. She told him how she had slipped, away under fire, crossing miles of open ground to reach safety, how she had traded her medic satchel for a mop, her combat boots for worn sneakers. She never told anyone here who she really was. Until now, the general listened in stillness, but his eyes glistened faintly. Then he stepped away from the podium. The medals on his chest caught the light as he placed his hand firmly on her shoulder. "You answered the call when no one else could," he said. "And you have again today." The young soldiers lining the walls straightened, sensing the gravity of the moment. Applause began as a polite patter, then swelled into a wave that rolled through the hall. Lena felt her throat tighten. For years, she had blended into the background. Now, she stood in the center, every face turned toward her. Part of her wanted to retreat into the safety of anonymity, but the general kept her there, speaking to everyone present. Bravery doesn't fade with age, and it doesn't need a uniform to be real. In that moment, the years she thought she'd lost felt returned to her, not as pain, but as proof that what she had done mattered, because kindness doesn't vanish. It waits, and it finds its way back. As the applause softened, Lena returned to her mop. But the marble hall no longer felt cold. And when she glanced over her shoulder, the general was still watching her, not as a stranger, but as a soldier whose story had finally been heard. If this story touched you, share it with someone who needs to remember that courage has no age limit. And if you'd like to hear more stories like this, subscribe and join our community, where every quiet hero's voice is heard.